Well, this religious man was lukewarm. And God asked him one question. He said, what did you do with my son, Jesus? Why did you reject him? And this man, flat on his face, he couldn't bear to move and even look at God. And as I was flat on my face, not even able to look at God, this man tried to say, but forgive me, have mercy. He said, but I thought there was plenty of time. If you're a loving God, then when my time came to stand before you, your love would forgive me and I would have nothing to worry about. That was his perception of God's love. And maybe that's your perception. Maybe that is what you've been brought up with your own parents. Oh, well, if I do wrong, my parents just love me. And they just say, don't do it again. But there's no consequences to my actions. And if that's how you've been brought up, then that is how you will probably end up. Because a loving father does punish his children. A loving father will hold them accountable for the good and the bad that they have done while they are on earth. And that's what God says. If God says it, but how do we do the same? This man, then God himself said, send him. He said, depart from me, you evildoer. I never knew you. And all of a sudden, it was like summer tour, I think it was, vaguely. Men dressed in purple robes with gold embroidery all through their purple robes, sitting on the 24 thrones. Two of them got up and they walked and they escorted this man to a doorway at the throne room of God. And only God the Father could command that door to be opened. And all of a sudden the door opened. And all you could hear was the sound of screams. There was sounds like millions upon millions of people were screaming. They were screaming. And the elders pushed him to the door. And there were two men. And they were not human. But they were dressed like in monk robes. And yet as we could see them, they couldn't bear to stand in the light. And they were bowing the knee in the darkness. But you could see their piercing eyes. And you could see the flesh was burning off them and hanging off them. And all you could smell was burning flesh and death. And screams. I said to Jesus, I said, where is he going? Jesus said, come. I will take you to where he is going. And all of a sudden we walked through this doorway and we saw this man who'd been sentenced to hell by God the Father. We saw this man. There were these evil demonic spirits, evil men that were half human, half beast. Their flesh was melting off them and they were rejoicing. They were crying out and saying to this man, we have been waiting for this day. We have been planning this day that you would come and you would be with us. That you would get the reward that you have sown on earth. And you would spend eternity reaping what you have sown on earth with us. This man was screaming and yelling and saying, God help me, have mercy. And these demons were saying, no one can help you now. It is finished and you are ours. You belong to Lucifer. You belong to us and that is finished.